Welcome to the Ball at All Cost podcast. I should say, hey ye. That's Deji's one. I love when he does that. Brings the energy straight away. And listen, you still liking that music, Dej?
Mate, loving it. Every time it's been growing on me, continues to grow. And if you're not careful, I might even drop some bars on that beat. So,
waiting for the bars. It's a bit too short, but if you want to freestyle at the end of it, go for it.
Yeah.
That might be a different kind of pod anyway.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Listen, it's another week. It's another day that we're going to ask you to please subscribe to the channel. The subscribers are growing. You know what to do. Subscribe, hit the like, smash the like button, hit that notification, and please leave a comment. I want you to comment and ask us questions for the next show, but do it in the comments. We'll pick them up and then we'll ask the next guest or ourselves on the next show. And if you're listening on audio feed, please drop a like and a review, Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you're listening. Thank you. And please do those things we ask you to do. It helps us and it will help us to help you. Now that the public service announcement is over, we're going to do our check-ins as we always do. We have a special guest in Finn Fletcher and F7 coaching, and we'll come to you shortly, Finn. We're going to check in with my brothers first and foremost. I'm going to start with OC. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. It's been a long week, very, very long week. Mm-hmm. But you're not loath to report, to be honest. The boys played today. Didn't get the result, but a better performance from it, much better performance. So, yeah, positive signs, I would say. Good.
That's what we want. It's about development. Let's never forget that it's about development.
Yeah, I'll just laugh and leave that there. Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to comment. I'm not going to get you in trouble either, because we're going to leave it there. Deji, how are you doing?
Yeah, look, I'm good, but I don't want it to be a case of my mood is dependent on results. I had already set it in my mind that I was having a good week, and I was gonna say on the pod today that I'm having a good day, win, lose or draw, but we happen to get the win, so I'm even doubly it anyway. But I'm not as gassed, to be honest, because Andrew did the business today, mate, and has put a real statement out that Ryan are not here to mess about. They're here to
sticking it on me every week.
Really dominate this league this season, and so the big target has swiftly shifted into the corner of the red and blacks of Ryan.
Finn, sorry, you I don't know how many episodes you've seen, and you're probably new to this side of it. This is the side of it where Mr. What do we call him? Bandela, aka Van Helsing over there, he tries to deflect everything from his team onto my team.
Okay.
Does it every week so subtly. Yeah, we have one victory, and he's trying to say we are the proclaimed when they are the cup winners. They have the targets on their back, but he tries to forget that each week. But that's what that's all about.
Standards are high.
Standards are high. You've been there. We're going to talk about it. You've definitely been there. So, yeah, the week's been good. It was nice to have a result today. But you know what? It wasn't about the result. I always say it's not about the result. And I honestly mean it's not about the result, because I'm here for the kids' development. Scores mean nothing. They're not recorded. I know there's a little sneaky table going around and results are collated by parents and stuff. But at the end of the day, there's no trophies or medals handed out for what happens between September and February/March. So my thing is, can the boys improve from September through to February and March? And today was a game where they had to fight for every possession and they had to earn the right to play. And that's basically what it is where we are now, under 11s with these boys. And yeah, they did that and they played some good football. They got some goals and they got a few more than the other team. And that's what happens today. But was it a derby game? Probably. Were the parents happy? Probably. Were the other teams happy? Probably not. But we keep it moving. We've got a special guest in the name of Finn Fletcher. This one's close to my heart. And every week, I turn around and say, this one excites me. This one definitely excites me. I don't know Finley that well. I know his younger brother, I know his mum, I know his dad. Impressive young man, heard about his journey, but you're going to hear it firsthand. And Finley's been kind enough to join us this week to tell us about it. So how are you doing, Finn?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well.
Good, good. I see you've got the merch on, which I love. Good man.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
To show it to the world. So Finn,
Just pushing it.
You got to push it. That's what everyone else does. So you keep pushing. So, like I said, I know some of your journey, but the listeners don't know anything about you per se. So can you just start telling us, you're about 20 years old, you're a young man. You look like you still play. You still look like you can dominate that midfield. But you had a journey. You had a youth journey. Can you tell us where that started? When you started playing football, when you got into the organised game, and how that worked for you, and if you were signed, where that was, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, of course. So my journey started from young, from about 5 years old. Funny enough, at Ryan FC, great club. Many
Rich will love that.
Great club. Many talented players come through there. So, I started off there, and as time went on, and when we're reaching about under 6, under 7s now, clubs start getting involved, and people are coming to watch and sweep up the young ones that they're getting their eye on. I was getting interest from Arsenal, which was ideal as it was on my doorstep, and my dad was a big Arsenal fan, so it was quite a big thing. And I was attending sessions there, but also had interest from other Sunday League clubs. So at the time, it was Byron Red Star, which I'm not sure, but I don't hear about as much anymore. But at the time, I mean, we had an unbelievable team, and a lot of the Arsenal boys were playing for this team at the time. So my dad thought it would be a good decision for me to sort of go across to there and mix with them boys. So as time went on, I was attending Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham and West Ham in the same week, which was tough for my dad especially, which I actually think at some point he dropped certain days off work and had to do this and that. So from a parent's side, it's very tough. But so I stayed with Arsenal for quite a few years until I was about 9 years old. And then from there I got released, which was a big thing then to take. I didn't know how early into my journey I was, and I thought it was the end of the world at some point. And
did your dad, sorry to cut you, did your dad as well?
Like I said, it was Arsenal, it was on our doorstep, it was our team. I think he would have loved for me to be there and be around it, but he just wanted me happy and enjoying football, I think, most importantly. So I was obviously going into different clubs at that time, still working on myself outside of there, went in at a few different clubs and spent some time at Chelsea, some time at West Ham as well. But there was a period where I think I felt I was playing under so much pressure all the time, because I felt I was being judged by how I was playing. I'm on trial here, and then I've got to go here, and then you're just impressing different people every day of the week, and it can be quite. You have to be on it all the time, and it hit a point where I think my mum and my dad discussed, and they thought it would be a good decision for me to go back to Sunday League, which I spent a year back at Ryan FC. At this time, I was about 12, 13 years old, and I was enjoying it. I was loving football. Not gonna say it was different, because I feel like because I was around that academy system and working at that intensity all the time, and I think I didn't find it easy, but I needed that bit of confidence to get the better out of my game, if that makes sense. So as time went on, I started to feel much more comfortable. I could sort of play to my strengths a bit more, and And then after about a year at Ryan FC, I'd changed much more as a player. I was very technical when I was younger. From young, that was what my dad was quite heavy on with me. But the aggression side and being vocal, things like that, I think that's what made me drop my game a little bit in some aspects. Like, there was certain kids from young that was on it and drilled and bossing players around, which is great to have, and you need them players in a team. But as I took that step back, I felt like I had to take that step back to make myself feel more comfortable and build that confidence, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And from there, I had quite a few clubs attending, just like London Cup finals and things like that. And I had a few interests from London clubs, like the Charltons, Millwalls, teams like that. But then I also had interest from Southampton, Fulham, some bigger clubs at the time as well. So it was a good moment for me, because I felt like I could not enjoy my football, because I was enjoying my football, but just give myself that little bit more confidence to know that I'm still around it and I'm still there, even though I hadn't been in the system.
Yeah.
So we decided that we thought Southampton would be a good option, because one of the coaches at the time that was working as my manager for Ryan, he was a scout for Southampton. So I don't think he rushed it. He knew that there were certain things that I needed to develop in my game. And when I look back, I mean, he helped me out massively. And it's good, because I'm still in contact with him now. He's helped me out massively. But yeah, we decided to go with Southampton, which was a great decision. I loved every moment of it there. It started off with me going to a centre in West London. Yeah. Which was quite a lot of travelling for me at the time. And it was a different environment. We're all sort of competing at the same time. It was like a London-based development centre. But from there, I was there for about a couple of weeks. I'd say 3 weeks. And then they brought me in on trial. And yeah, from then on, it was tough, because it was COVID times. So at the time, we were sort of playing in bubbles where we'd always mix with the same teams. Yeah. So in our bubble, we had just Chelsea. I mean, there was some top teams at the time, but because we was constantly playing each other, for me, I felt more comfortable, because I knew, as time went on, I knew certain players. I knew how certain players would play, and I was playing really well at the time, and I was loving it, because the coaching there was so good, and the support, more than the coaching, the support was so good. I mean, we would be playing games. The next day we'd be Zoom calls, one-on-one Zoom calls, going through our games, and from then I think it made me realise like how much things outside off the pitch can affect my game. And as obviously COVID at the time, we didn't know what was going on, how long we're going to be in it for, but it was still, my dad was driving me there, and my grandparents were driving me there, an hour and a half there, hour and a half back, 3 times a week. Sometimes they couldn't watch matches. It was a lot. So I was there for about a year, coming up to a year, and it was just too much. I mean, I believe that if the COVID situation wasn't happening, I possibly could have moved there when I was 14. We started looking at schools and things like that, but we didn't really get too far down the line, and we sort of came to an agreement, and my dad said, I can't do this anymore, because it was tough, and it was, and I appreciated that, like, everyone had done for me at the time, and it was a lot of learning from there. And when I look back on it, and I always talk to people, and I just say, like, I really enjoyed my time there, more than like probably the most there, because of the learning and the support. So then I signed for Fulham, because I think a few clubs talk, and at the time we just needed somewhere a little bit closer. Fulham came in. it was a different environment again, whole different setup. Some really good boys that I had in my team. I mean, I went into a team under 15s and under 16s and probably 8 international players. Some boys were playing for Portugal, some people were playing for England, obviously. It was a really good bunch of boys. I still talk to a lot of them today.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I actually coach some of them today, which is different.
Brilliant.
But yeah, it's good. But yeah, it was a great journey there. Met some great players, great coaches, and I had a few injuries into my under 16 season, which was quite difficult to deal with because in the back of your mind you're thinking about scholarships, this, that, everything's going through GCSEs. It's just, and I was given extra time. So by the time that everyone was given their scholarship decisions, they either had their yes or their no. I was given an 8-week period where I, in my opinion, thought I was doing really well, quite low confidence at the time, but we was doing well as a team, and obviously the environment, it was a bit, some people knew their decision, so they was going elsewhere, trying different things. The boys that had their yes, they was full of confidence, playing, enjoying their football. And I just sort of, the way I looked at it is I didn't want to come across that I was any different to any of the boys that had a yes. I just kept going, smile on my face, no different, and I was doing really well. And it come to the end of the 8 weeks, and I was enjoying my football, like I said, and I sat in the office and they said that they couldn't give me a decision at the time. They all couldn't come to an agreement. So I was given more time, right? Now, at this point, everyone's, like I said, going elsewhere, seeing different clubs. You need to get a scholarship, so and so. And that's going through my mind at the time. I'm coming into training every day from now on, and I'm like, what are they going to say? Like, it's just constantly running through my mind. And there was one day that I actually went into the office. I didn't speak to my mum or dad, and I just sat down with the coaches and said, I can't keep playing like this. I need to know. And it wasn't a thing where I felt like I was stepping and doing something wrong, because I wasn't that type of person. I didn't want to, I was just trying to get across to them that, like, I feel like I've done enough at this point. I've been a part of your team for over a year now. Of course, I had my injuries, I understand. I've done my 8 weeks, and I felt at the time I was doing well. But like I said, they said they all couldn't come to an agreement, and I probably could have dealt with it in a much better way, if I'm being honest. Now I look back on it and I see it as a lesson. But at the time, I was loving it there. It was a new Premier League club and I was buzzing. But at the time, they all couldn't come to an agreement, and I had to start looking elsewhere. Luckily, I had some really good people around me, some with good agency. And I was going on loads of trials again, going a lot further away from home at these points. Obviously, coming up to the scholarships, I went to Stoke for a while. I went to Swansea. But because of how late that I had left Fulham, this is what was going through my mind. I was literally travelling here for a week, and it's like you're getting judged off one game, because I had no time, and it was really tough. And I had some tough times. I went to Stoke, trained really well, was there with the 21s, was supposed to be playing Liverpool I remember it because it was the first time I was staying away. It was meant to be playing Liverpool. Weather was Stoke weather, like raining, windy, all that. But we actually woke up on the day of the game. I look out my window and it was snowing everywhere. Game got cancelled. Trains, couldn't get trains back. And I sort of went home. They said, you can come back next week and we'll reschedule everything. And it never happened because I was just so on the move. It was just so much going on. That was an unlucky thing that happened. Went to Swansea the next week. and fractured my wrist at the time in the game, literally 25 minutes into the game. So at this point, my head's all over the place. I remember coming home and I was in my room and I was saying to my mum, like, I don't think I can do this. Like, I don't think I've got the next step to get the scholarship. I know it was loads of little things, and there's definitely ways I could have dealt with it much better. But at the time, maybe I was feeling a bit sorry for myself. Maybe I was, but I then, my mum and dad sat down with me, and I looked back at my journey so far, and I was like, I can't give up now. And I had a few offers from lower league clubs. I was offered a scholarship at Leyton Orient. I was offered a scholarship with Grimsby Town up north. And I went up north and met with the head people up north, Grimsby Town. And they was great people, presented a great project, and they liked me as a player. So I felt that it would be best, me and my dad felt that it would be best for me to sign up there, live away from home, not be around my friends as much and distractions, obviously Leyton Orient being on my doorstep. So yeah, it was a journey. It was a journey, plenty of clubs, plenty of lessons, experiences, but I loved it all. And I feel privileged that I could say that I've experienced and met these people.
Brilliant. So, Finn, can I just say first and foremost, before we go any further, I just clocked you're actually the youngest guest we've had on this show. Is that right, gentlemen? I think you are.
Yep,
so congratulations for that. And the reason I mention that is because you speak so well, very impressive young man, and your parents should be proud of you.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Just want to get that out the gate.
Thank you.
You told your story really well, and it's very clear that you're a thoughtful young man as well. So I can understand some of these decisions, some of the thought processes that are going through your mind at these various steps in your journey. I just want to take it back. I'm going to ask some questions and then I'm going to open it up to the floor. But just on what you delivered already, there is so much to unpack. I just want to take it right back to the grassroots element for me, because I think that was very telling, very important. So the second grassroots stint, so when you came out of the pre-academy stages and the foundation stage, and you decided you needed to go back into grassroots. So at the age of 12, I think it was, to 14, you touched on the fact that you had the technical, but there was something missing. And I think that was kind of that vocal, maybe aggression, maybe leadership. Now, coming out, you said it wasn't easy, but I'm assuming you were probably Ryan's one of their better players, maybe their best player, but I'm not saying you have to say you're the best player. But what did that do for you? Did that make you become a leader, do you think?
I would say in terms of confidence was probably my biggest thing. I always struggled with confidence, whether it was my strengths, weaknesses. And I think that the Ryan FC, where it helped me so much was, like I said, the managers especially, they knew what I needed to work on, and they just supported me the best way I did. They would give me, I was the captain. I'd never been the captain, never led a team. And it was more just coming out of my comfort zone, but in a good group, without much pressure. And you're not playing this Chelsea, this Man City, this one, this. And you can play with more freedom and enjoy the game. And obviously mistakes happen everywhere, but it's less pressure in my opinion. And that's where I feel like the leadership and the aggression, and it made me want to work more for a team, because I felt like it was more a friendship and a whole, like a real, like we all sort of cared about each other a lot.
Yeah.
We all wanted to see each other do well. And that's what I think, and I relay in my coach now. I don't want to go off topic, but
keep going.
Building something, so you're in an environment where you all want each other to grow. And that's where I've learned especially that I want to bring into my coaching. But like I said, you do get it in the academy system. I'm not saying you don't, but I feel like sometimes this one's battling for this position, so I don't like this person, or this one's. And with a team like I had, especially, I mean, I don't think we lost any league. I mean, I think we got locked out of one competition, but the leagues, I don't think we lost a league. I think we won the London Cup at the time. So we had I had a successful time there, and I loved it. So I think in terms of building that aggression, leadership, it definitely helped by the environment I was in and the support I had from them.
And probably an obvious question, but had you stayed in the academy, what do you think would have happened?
Most probably, I probably would have drifted and not paid attention to these sort of things that I should have probably worked on. I probably would have just kept ticking over. But I feel like it was needed and it happened for a reason.
Yeah, definitely did. And I think it's what you say is key, right? I think it is a bit dog eat dog in the academies, let's be honest. And some boys' influence, typically from parents, can not be nice. Like you say, you're competing for the same shirt on the match day, and when trialists come in, they're trying to take the shirt off your back as well, both your backs. So it is a tough environment. And I think if you've got things to work on, like you said, then there is no shame or no harm. I think it was very brave, very sensible, like a smart thing to do, to take a step out, to work on your game. And this is what grassroots can give you, that kind of intensity, but that freedom almost. And like you say, it empowered you because you became captain. And can we just touch on, before I open the floor to the other guys, staying on this topic, what was your week to week like when you were in the academy, and what was and compare that to your week to week when you came out of the academy or playing grassroots? So when I say week to week, you played, I don't know, Chelsea on the Sunday, and then next week you knew you were playing Tottenham. How did you feel after the game, knowing that you're playing another big game the following week, and then comparing that to your week to week when you were at Ryan?
So I think with me, it was always, like you said, if you're playing at Chelsea, you know you're going to come up against a good team, a good opponent, and Tottenham. I always had a pride when I played for Arsenal. Like I said, I supported them. I always really wanted to work as hard as I can and feel as good as I can for me, my team, everyone. But it was definitely tough, and I'm probably someone who looks into things more than I should. So I, for example, may start 5 minutes into a game and I might have a bit of a shaky start. Now, I will pay attention to every little detail around me. And as I got older, that was something I had to develop and I had to work on. But when I was younger, it was more, there was great, everyone's talented. You're always going to come up against a team, and it may be a team where you might be playing a Leyton Orient or a Colchester, where you know they're going to have them, they're still going to have top players. They might have one that's better than, he might be the best player on the pitch. And that, for me, if I came off the pitch and I thought I was playing a team on the weekend, and for example, Leyton Orient, Colchester, and there was a better player, I didn't feel good enough. Do you know what I'm saying? I felt like, why am I here? And this is where I look into things too much. And I did work on this when I was at Fulham and when I was at Southampton, and I had to learn from that. But it was tough. But from when I went into Ryan, it was more I was looking forward to it. You know, I think that's the biggest thing. I wanted to play. I couldn't wait. I always wanted to work hard and win the game. For me, I wanted to win. I wanted to help my teammates. I wanted to help myself get better. But I feel I had much more freedom and enjoyment playing at that time in that period for me.
Perfect. And so I'm going to jump in one other before I hand it over. Including that week to week, staying on that topic, coming out of an academy 3 times a week, and then coming to Ryan, I'm assuming you're training once a week. What extras did you do? Can you talk us through kind of what that looked like?
Yeah, 100%. I was pretty much working every day. I had a great coach from young, a guy called Luis Rodriguez. He was a technical coach, and he was a top coach. I mean, he taught me so much along my journey, and I worked with him all the way through till when I was at Fulham, and as much as I could. And I believe my dad did a lot of technical work with me and sent me to coaches like Lewis, because he knew how important it was. I mean, he played for Sporting Lisbon himself, and he had a career in the game. And I believe at that age, technicals can help you massively, especially playing off someone who can play off both feet and feel comfortable under pressure and have all the ball mastery, the so and so. But I think that's what helped me mainly. I was working a lot. Regardless, even when I was in academies, I was still training on my days off, still putting it in. It may not be intense, going at it for 2 hours. It may just be, I'm doing a whole session set of all my left foot, or I'm doing, it's more
the technical details is details.
Yeah, 100%. And it was a lot of body movement. It was a lot of, that's what I learned, because I mean, he helped me massively with not being one of them midfielders that's up and down. He wanted me to feel light on my feet, and it was really good, and it stayed with me the whole way.
Okay, perfect. Love that. Thank you very much for that, Finn. I'm going to hand over to Deji now, because he's our resident bundler, as I mentioned at the beginning. So be careful. You may get 7 questions in one, or maybe 2, but it's definitely not just going to be the one.
No worries.
7 is you being polite. I've actually got about 17 questions. Finley to deal with. No, just kidding. Finley, man, I just want to thank you just for your realness. Like, I feel everything you're saying in terms of how genuine you are, but also I'm just picturing myself. I could have listened to you for the next 2-3 hours of that journey, and you did it excellently. And I guess you were touching on it. So I've got 2 questions, but the first one I wanted to ask you is that whole time at Fulham. You're there, and then they've extended your 8. You've got this 8 weeks. What were they bloody looking for? Like, what haven't they seen that they would have seen the whole season? What was the extras? What, because I would have been going mad myself. Like, bloody hell, I've had a whole year. What's 8 weeks really going to do? Do you know what I mean?
Right. Do you know exactly. I mean, this is at some point what I struggled with. And that's why, like I said, I was never that type of person to come out of my comfort. I sort of went in there because I was confused myself. I mean, I had quite a bad knee injury. It wasn't terrible, but was out for a couple of months at probably quite a bad timing as well. It was quite unlucky. And I think they wanted to see how I'd react to it, how I was playing, which was understandable at the time, and I totally get that. I don't know if they was looking for something else, and maybe seeing that if I would have, that whatever they wanted from me, maybe I would have came back and done it. But I must say, I just felt very uncomfortable at the time. And I knew that I couldn't keep playing like that. And I'd done it. I thought that I'm going to have to get through this 8 weeks, and I'm going to do the best I can. Like I said, I was going to push. I was going to act like I gel with the boys that have got the yeses, the boys that got the nos, and I just kept playing football. But I don't know, and they didn't really give me a reason, which was quite hard. And all I remember is we can't all come to an agreement. So that's all. That doesn't mean anything. Yeah, it's upsetting, but it's football, and
yeah, because I'm just thinking to myself naturally, you know, you're not going to run any quicker than you've been running all season. You're not going to come up with a new skill or a new move in 8 weeks that you've not been doing the whole season. It doesn't.
I must say that there was a lot of strong players at Fulham at the time. I mean, we're looking at he was playing up with us boys at the time. Josh King, who's starting for them in the Premier League every week now. Yeah. And obviously I was working with him in pre-season. Lovely guy. Really good friends. Lovely guy. But we had some, like I said, I walked into a team that was full of internationals. So I was around the best and they had great talent. So maybe there was... They had their focuses, which is fair enough, and he's doing well, and I love working with him, and it's great to see he's doing well.
Yeah, no, respect. And I had one more question because I know OC wants to come in. I guess for me as a parent, one of the big things for me is if I'm lucky enough or my son's lucky enough to have the experience that you had to be called into an academy, is to pick in the right one. You know, one of the things I don't want to do is just go for the first club that come. But you when you were talking about Southampton, you had a smile on your face, you know, and you talked about the level of support. What was it about Southampton that one made you, you know, pick them as a club, but also still gives you that butterfly effect feel where you like that club was legitly the right one for me? Because I feel like people need to know what should
100%. Yeah, 100%. I believe it was more because, like I said, it wasn't just on the pitch; it was off the pitch, the support off the pitch, the analysis, the things like that. And I think, obviously, I know clubs were doing this, but I think in terms of the age group, I mean, at the time. We're talking quite a while ago now. I think they was on it from early. And I mean, I had a great team. I played with Tyler Dibbin next to me, who's now obviously doing well. So I was in a great team. Jimmy Morgan went on to get signed by Chelsea, many players. And I just feel, all the work off the pitch was helping me progress, and because I was progressing, and it wasn't like I didn't feel like I was really putting myself through it to progress. It was almost like I was taking a step back, looking at other things and realising that, this can help me. As simple as watching a game and focusing on the other players instead of myself, and just noticing a few different patterns, and it was just good because I knew I was progressing. I knew I was learning. It's different things I hadn't experienced, and it was just all new to me, and I just thought it was really good.
Interesting. No, thank you, Finn. I'll hand over to OC.
Yeah, thanks, Finn. It's top, just top information that you're giving. I'm enjoying this listening myself, actually. What I was going to ask though is when you get to that almost crunch time, 15, 16, going for a scholar. Not just your experience, but what's it like at that time within an academy? Is it dog eat dog mentality? Do you really need to have a bit of grit about you? What's it like for a kid in that environment?
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy. I mean, it's exciting. It's definitely exciting because you sort of get a feel for what you're going into and your dream to go. If you wanted to say it like that, you're around the team every day. You're just really getting used to it. But it was hard at the time, and it can be very uncomfortable. Certain people deal with it in certain ways, and that's why I always feel like that with everything. And I think some people see it as, I'm going to go in there and smash it and no nerves. But some people will look at it in a different way. First time travelling away from home. I've got to be here tomorrow. I don't know any of these under 21s boys. I've got to go and train with them. And when you're going in at 16 and you've got to impress and you've got brand new coaches watching you, and then you've got this one on the weekend, you're psyching yourself up. I think for me personally, it was a different feeling. I might have been playing Scunthorpe away, but the week before I was playing Man United. But I get a different feeling because I know I'm going into that full-time environment, and at the time everyone wants a scholarship. It's a path in the right direction. It's not the end of the world. It's definitely not the end of the world, but I think it was tough, but it was definitely a great experience. But it's not dog eat dog. I wouldn't say, because it depends on the team and how the club is set up. I mean, I was very welcome. I was actually the only sort of boy from London down south way, and they made me feel very welcome. So I really believe it depends on the club and how you are as a person. But it's very exciting, I must say.
It's interesting because we've all got kids.
Definitely.
Under 9s, under 11s, and I think a lot of the audience are around that age. But it's just good to get a bit of insight, a bit further along the journey. I would say. And I just want to come back to what you mentioned with Arsenal. Obviously, is that your club or your dad's club? Both. Yeah,
both. Yeah.
Okay. So you said that impacted you when you got released from Arsenal at under 9s, and I just wanted to maybe ask. Do you think that yourself and your family could have done anything a bit different at the time? And what advice would you give to parents for kids that get released at those younger ages, 9s, 10s, 11s, 12s?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, for me personally, first I'd probably say, because it was the first academy environment I was in, I was loving football at the time, and it feels like the end of the world. Obviously, you don't realise you've got a whole journey ahead of you. But for parents, I mean, I feel now that it's great if your son or daughter is in that system, and getting spotted and being able to experience these things. But I definitely think I wouldn't say it's a rush. I wouldn't push to over and make, because I feel sometimes I see parents and I feel they want it more than their children want it, and that's where I think it's not a rush. And I feel like there's only so much you can do as a parent to push them in and try and get them the opportunities, which is great. You want the best for your child, but it's more about the learning. And like I said, with me, I had to take that step into academy football first and then come out to go back in. But some kids might develop by having that longer period in grassroots football to then go into academy football. So like I said, it's lovely playing there. I loved it, but I definitely wouldn't say it's the end of the world if you're not spotted by the time you're 7 and you haven't got a pre-academy. You've got such a long journey. I didn't realise it at the time, but there's the most important thing is just enjoying it. Enjoy the journey.
Yeah, that's an important point. Just the enjoying it, because I think when you come back to it, yeah, fair enough. The podcast is BallAtAllCost, but literally just little kids playing football. Do you know what I mean? And like, you'll see it now with obviously the clients you've got and stuff, but the pressure and the demands just to try and get into the academy is crazy. And people think I'm soft in it. So my boy is under 9s. He trains at an EDC at the moment. He was close to getting an offer. He didn't get an offer. And I was speaking to someone the other day, and I was like, I don't force my kid to train. Like I'm not in that period where I'm forcing him to train. So I know that we should push and we should drive, but if he doesn't want to come out and he doesn't want to do it, I'm not forcing that upon him, because like you said, it's got to be the kid first. Because if the drive is always coming from the parent, if they do get into the setup, what's going to happen when the parent perhaps steps back? So yeah, I think that's a good bit of advice.
100%. And it's funny enough, I had from one of the players I've been training privately. His dad really wanted him to get into his county team, so he's under 16s at the minute. Was scouted, I believe, when he was younger, but never actually been in the academy system. So he's just played grassroots football his whole life. Really great player, technical player. I still work with him. We've been working for probably 8 months now. And his dad really wanted him to get into the county team, and we was doing loads of extras. I was doing some analysis with him because of how much I realised it improved my game. And we was just looking at the details that would help him. And there was a point where I was on the phone to his dad, and he felt sometimes that he was coming and training with me, doing all this, but then when he was going home, he was done. It wasn't he didn't want to go out and train himself, and he didn't want to go for a run on his off day or just do something to keep him ticking over. And all he did was just have a chat with him, and he started doing little extras every day. Nothing crazy, not pushing himself to the limit, but still doing the training with me, still listening and taking on everything I was saying, but doing them little extras, and got into the county team. And last week he's offered a 6-week trial at West Ham, and he's never been scouted. Exactly, so it's great news. But the biggest thing from it was he is a player like me. I mean, he might do something crazy in training. He won't smile. He won't. It doesn't look like he's enjoying it. But I was actually at the game when he got told he was offered the 6-week trial, and I've never seen him sort of. It was just good to see. You could see that it made him feel a little bit more relaxed in a way, because he felt like, wow, I'm actually doing something right, you know. And it's not feeling pressure, and it sort of, you could tell it paid off, them little things, just the little details. But yeah, nice. It's great news.
Yeah, do you know what? That's good, because somebody might think that happened back in 1995, and that doesn't happen these days, where like kids aren't playing academy and they get spotted when they're 16 and stuff. So I think that's just a good little story for the listeners to know that
100%.
Just stay calm, stay focused, and like, when it's your time, it's your time. I'll hand over in 1 second. Last one. So I can tell you come from a top home. Do you know what I mean? I think your parents have done a good job, and you're focused, and you've had the support, and like, obviously you're focused with what you're doing right now. So like, hats off to them, because that comes through. But what I was going to ask is, just going through the academy journey, what have you taken away from that to sort of be like who you are today, and like with the focused mind that you've got now?
A lot more than I realised. I mean, a lot of people say it. Life skills, a lot of life skills, and like you said, my mum and dad have done a lot for me. Took me here, took me there, raised me well. But there is a lot of things, like experiences, that it's hard to describe, but it is quite tricky to describe. But there is a lot of things that you realise, and I don't know if it's through experiences or just being around it, and especially when I went into my scholarship, I'd say you try new things and experience things, and you're around it more, and you can sort of learn. And there was times where there was pros that I really got along with, and it was more as a friendship, but also someone that I'd learn from, and I think that helped me, especially when they're in the limelight and this one's doing this and this one's doing that. But all in all, I think the academy is always, you have to be very grounded at times. And I mean, little things like going on tours and from young, and you always have to be well behaved. You're representing a club, and it's a big thing because you care about it, you know. So it's not something like, not because you don't want to mess up in front of coaches or things like that, but you just want to come across, and you want to have that I'm a polite player and I want to learn, and I think that's what I looked at it as. I didn't ever want to be that type of person where, no, you're wrong to the coach. I mean, there was things I didn't agree with, but I would never say, I'd never say it in a way where I was coming across as rude. I just wanted to sort of learn from things, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I think. Listen, we'll get onto the coaching in a sec, I suppose. But I'll pass across to you, Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, so we are going to touch on the coaching. I mean, you've touched on it there. But I want to go back into obviously Grimsby and how that went in the end. I just want to say, though, I know we keep on singing your praises, but it is impressive. And I think one of the life skills you got even before your scholarship was, I think it was very brave of you to, as you say, it's not your, like, you kind of got out of pocket in the sense that you went in and did something you probably wouldn't normally do. But I think it was brave and it was mature for you to just walk in and say, because it almost feels like you're being petulant, but I don't think you're a human being. This is your journey, and you took control. You wanted to know what was going on, and I think that's very brave, because a lot of the time players and parents get dictated to and are scared to speak or say anything. And although you may think, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that, I still think it was brave that you were able to do that, and that shows maturity and growth. I don't think you went there in a passionate way, throwing your toys at the pram. You just asked the question and you wanted to find out. So well done to you for doing that. And well done for you to taking a scholarship in at Grimsby, away from home, a long way away from home.
Yeah.
And then did you get pro there?
So it was a tough time. So I signed my scholarship, spent my first year there, and throughout I can't remember the exact time, but I think it was about halfway through my second year, I sort of hit like a wall. It was quite a tough time, and I really wasn't enjoying my football, and I tried to figure out certain ways around it, and I tried different things, but it was really affecting me to the point where I felt like it was taking over my life a little bit, and everyday life. And halfway through my second year, I actually remember I called my dad and I just said, Dad, this ain't right. I can't keep doing this. I can't develop. I can't grow like this. I can't. So I just need to help myself, pretty much.
As a human being?
As a human being.
Yeah.
And I remember, I mean, I don't keep in contact with her now, but I had a teacher at the time who was helping me for my education at Grimsby. She supported me massively. The safeguarding at Grimsby supported me massively. But it was almost times where, like I said, I've been on that journey. I've been playing football the whole time in the academy football. I never felt like this, but there was times I was waking up and I didn't want to train. I didn't want to, and not because I was feeling like lazy or I want to go lay back in bed. I just didn't want to step on the pitch. It was a really tough time, but they supported me well. And yeah, it helped me. I learned a lot from that. And it's really helped me in what I do now, and how I look in at players, and can understand players as a coach, and just all round. I mean, not everyone's the same. That's why I always say it. I mean, when you were saying about going in for scholarships, is it a dog eat dog? It's how you are as a player.
Yeah.
And that's what I think the biggest thing that I learned from it. So I don't regret any of it. I appreciate, I love all the people I met up there. I met some great people, experienced great things. But yeah, it was definitely some big lessons I learned from there.
Okay. So you leave Grimsby.
Yeah.
You think, what am I going to do with myself? I guess you've got your Tyler Diblins, friends of yours, Josh King, friend of yours, and others. I can't remember the guy you said who went to Chelsea, friend of yours. They're still doing that. Are you thinking, right, I'm going to coaching, or are you thinking I'm going to be a milkman, sod this, or what's your thought process?
Well, I mean, at the time, if I'm being totally honest, it was my main objective was I need to get home, I need to look after myself, I need to work on myself. And I think I needed that time at home to sort of connect to my family again. It was different for me. I wasn't really coming home much because of the distance. I'd only just started driving, and it was probably it wasn't in the first month. I'd say it probably about 2-3 months down the line. I knew I didn't want to walk away from football. I love football. It's all I know. And I feel like I've met so many great people along the line, and it's always something I love being around. So I knew I didn't want to walk away from football. I actually went in and sat down with my agent, spoke with him, and I didn't say it on the spot, but I sat there and I thought, I'd love to learn some stuff about agency work and things like that. And at the time, he didn't say no, but he said, obviously, there's a lot of things you can work on. You can learn about this, you can learn about this, but as a young person, it's more learning. But for you, he was the one who actually said it. He was like, for you, I think you should go into coaching. And I was like, okay, all right. And he was like, you're going to meet great people. You know your football, you love your football. It's a whole different thing for you. Like I said, I was never a vocal person. I was never someone who would really step out of their comfort zone, talk in front of all these people and feel like...
Well, you're going out to millions today. I'll tell you that much, Finn. No, I'm only joking. Not quite millions, but you know what I mean.
One day. But, it was from there, I said, you know what? I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna not show him that the reason that he said I don't think you should go into agency. I wasn't doing it to show him, but I thought, you know what, I'm gonna push myself, and this is probably, if I'm being honest with you, the biggest thing. Like, in the time off that I had when I came home, and I was sitting there thinking to myself, I knew I could have done more on my. From me, my mum and dad always supported me the best way they could. They put me in contact with this one, took me here, took me there. But from me, I believe I could have done more. And I don't let it affect me where that's why I didn't make it, because I could have done more. But I know I could have done more. Yeah. But I take it from that, and I've sort of used it to, like, I never want to feel like I am stepping on a pitch and I'm coming up against a boy that's playing at United and I feel like he's working harder than me at the minute, so he's 1-0 up on me already. You know, and it's one of them things. I want to feel comfortable in what I do, and I want to feel like I know what I'm talking. Obviously, there's always learning, and that's why I feel like in my journey now with coaching, it's just learning. Everywhere's learning, and it's all experiences. But it was massive for me at the time to have that time to myself and have that chat. And from there, it's sort of, I got a job at West Ham about a month or two later, after I'd just started advertising my own stuff. And then from then on, I've just been pushing it as hard as I can, really.
Brilliant. So you got a job at West Ham. I know you did some work with the DS coaching guys.
Yeah, DS.
Yeah. So shout out to them. And then you thought, right, I'm going to buy my own balls, get my own logo, and then I'm going to start my own brand. Is that how it worked, or was there anything else?
Well,
pushed you that way?
DS helped me massively. I mean, I have to touch on it because without them, they taught me a lot of stuff in the way that, I mean, from start, when I was interested in going into coaching, I'd spoke to many different people and asked for, not for opportunities, but for learning of different people. But I'd never met DS. I'd never trained with DS. My brother was training with them at the time. Yeah. And my mum got in contact and said, my son's going to bring blue tonight. He's looking to get in some coaching. He's going to come and introduce himself. So already, I'm like, oh god.
Good old mums. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Ones that were pushing you. Subtle push there from mum.
Yeah. And then from there, Sam and Dean, they just helped me massively. They were great people. They looked after me really well, taught me loads of things, and I'm not sure exactly how long I spent with them, but I enjoyed all of it. Like I said, I learned a lot, and from there, they gave me the confidence to go and start my own thing. They wanted me to join them full time. At the time, I don't know. I think they had some coaches working with them. I mean, they was doing really good at the time, and they still are. They're absolutely flying, and it's great to see. But I mean, I think they just had a few coaches from the outside coming in, and they did want me to work with them full time, and I would have, but I really did want to sort of step out of my comfort zone and push my own thing, and they was very supportive of it as well.
Okay, brilliant. So fast forward then, you get the logo. It's F7.
Yeah.
Is that Finn 7?
Yeah, so yeah, it was a weird one. My number at Fulham, my number was number 7 at Fulham. So I was never really, obviously I was a midfielder and I had the number 7, so I just stuck with it and I thought it looked good. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to go with it. And then, I just started working with a few close friends. Obviously, like I said, all my friends were playing football. And it was more not really my friends from the Southamptons, the Fulhams. It was more just my general friends and my friends that were playing locally and Leighton Orient. And then I just kept progressing and working and just trying to build and help them the best I could. Obviously, it was tough because, I mean, I'll touch on this later, but it was quite uncomfortable because I felt at the time like, why would someone listen to me when I was in the same system as them and they're still in it, you know?
Yeah.
And I had this recently with this off-season. I had the privilege of working with loads of top players, and one that really helped me in my coaching journey. I was working with Dane Scarlett in the off-season.
Oh, Dane, okay.
Yeah, and only because, the reason I say it's only because he's older than me.
Yeah.
He's a great footballer. He's got so much talent. But because of his age, it was how it all come about, and me working with him was very quick and it was unexpected. And I never really thought about it like this, but I thought, now, how am I going to work with someone like Dane and get him to listen to me and believe in me and help him when I'm younger than him? I'm not in the system. I'm not a pro. I mean, he's played and scored for the first team and so on. But I think what helped me was, from then on, I realised it's about, you need a lot of personality in coaching. And anything in football, anything in life, I believe. But I think personality helped massively. I wasn't going to be someone where he misses. We might do a set finishing and he might miss 5 on the spin. I'm not going to say, oh, well done, Dane, come, let's go back in. I wanted to push him because I know him as a person. He wants to be pushed. He wants to be, he knows his standards. His standards are high. Like I said, he's on it. So I think that helped massively, and that was a big learning curve for me in the coaching, if I'm being honest. But yeah, I mean, I had a great off season. But from the start, it really just kept developing and pushing. I didn't really do much advertising, if I was being honest. I could have done way more advertising now I look back. I've just only recently started to push it as more.
So you're getting clients like Dane Scarlett, Josh King. You're doing something right.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird because, like I said, I'm young, but I will push these boys and I will help them the best way I can, but I can also have a laugh with them off the pitch and have a friendship with them. So it's, I believe for them, I don't know what their opinions are on it, but I believe it's a good bond to have and friendship. I mean, one of my best friends is Harry Amas, who plays for Manchester United. Yeah. So he's probably my best friend, and he's on loan at Sheffield at the minute, Sheffield Wednesday. So I've been travelling up to Sheffield twice last month. I was there for his debut. I spent a lot of time with him off the pitch as well.
Yeah.
So I've got a good connection with him, and I think it helps massively when we can have that fun as friends, like we are when we're young, but then we can also focus together and help each other, if that makes sense.
Brilliant. Listen, I was going to talk about that because I was actually going to ask you about Josh King. I didn't know about Dane Scarlett. That's not in my notes. So I'm going to get onto my editors and to the admin team and find out why that wasn't in my notes. I did my own notes, people. So you touched on the nerves, I guess you had with teaming up with Dane. Dane obviously had a good off season. I know he's not getting the minutes now, but he's at a top club with a lot of strikers, so he's going to struggle. So that's no slight on your work. It's just he's an academy player. It's a top 6 Premier League club with a lot of money, and they've just got Kolo Marnie on loan and spent 30 quid on Tel. And they've already got 2 strikers they spent 60 million on. So Dane's going to find it hard to get in there. But he's shown promise. He scored a couple of goals, and let's see what the future holds for him. But Josh King, a player, like you said, who's flying at the minute, this is somebody you trained with. This is you say Dane was older, so that was a different thing. This is somebody you worked with. And I guess it's like your best mate you just spoke on. But how did that conversation happen? What are these guys seeing in you in F7 coaching, in Finn Fletcher 7, that are making them say, he's my mate, he didn't make it, but do you know what? I'm going to entrust my off season with him.
I believe it's because they know me as a person. They know I will want to push them. I won't be doing... I will only do what they feel comfortable. And like I said, I believe it's more of a fact where they might, for all that, they're probably trying to support me the best way I can, especially the people like Josh and the players I've played with. But I believe that they know me as a person. They have the trust in me, and they know I will only do what's best for them, and I will do everything I can. And it's one of them that, like I said, it's probably they're good people. Like I've said, I've always known these people. They're good people. They want to help friends. We help each other, and I think that's the biggest thing. It's almost about helping each other. But like I said, he can go and train with whoever he wants. He don't have to come and train with me. And it's not just him. It's all the players. They don't have to train me. But I believe it's the personality. They know that I know their standards. I know what they want to get to. And maybe you could say that because I am a similar age to them and I am their friend, I can almost give it in a way where I might push them to a limit, but they know it's not. We're friends, you know. It's not a random coach, not a random coach, but a coach that you don't know as well. And it's I know you, but I can really push them and help them the best way I can, if that makes sense.
They kind of know you really want the best for them. It's sincere and genuine.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with them. I'm not going to say, you're doing great when you're not in a session. I mean, of course, they're flying outside of football, but outside of the sessions with me. But they know I'll be honest with them. And like I said, I want them to. I know that they've made it now, but you've got to make it enjoyable. You've got to make them want to come and train with you. So, it's
brilliant.
Good.
See, OC's taking himself off mute, so he's got a question. I want to talk about the rest of the stuff you do in FC coaching, but OC, have you got a question about the here and now with these pros that Finn's training?
Well, no, it was more about the younger boys and girls that he's training.
Yeah. So we're moving there swiftly now. So I'll let you jump in, but let me just set the scene. So F7 coaching isn't just about you having your high-end clients and coaching the superstars of tomorrow. You also coach the future superstars of tomorrow, next week and next year, in the kids. So do you want to tell us about kind of what that looks like and what age groups you do? And then OC, you jump in.
So At the minute, I run groups from 5-year-olds all the way up to 18-year-olds. As obviously from the off season, it can go elsewhere. But yeah, at the minute, I mean, I tend to have a lot of focus on the younger ages. Not all my focus, but a lot in terms of, like I said, my experience in the technical work and things like that, and what I feel is very important for them. I believe that the technical work will help them stand out, and it's a great fundamental to have part of your game. I just believe it's almost like a toolbox. If by having these tools, it's only going to help you improve. And I also believe that if we can if we can really develop on the ball mastery and the technical work while we're young, later down the line, you can have your focus on more things that maybe should be a focus. I believe that having the ball mastery and technical work young is very important, in my opinion. Only because by the time you're 11s, 12s, you're not going to go into a club and be the strongest, fastest, tallest, but you need to know to some extent how to play football, if that makes sense.
100%, yeah.
And my clients are a lot of young ones. I mean, I still run groups 14s to 16s in the week. I still push them. The whole sessions look very different for them. And it's almost what I've learned on my journey, and I just sort of try and help them in any way I can, especially with the 16s boys at the minute. I work with a Woodford Town under 16s on the side, well, just for experience really, but at the same time, I do a session with them one day a week, but a few of them come and train with me on the outside as well. And it's really good because they trust me. They see me, like I said, they see me as someone like a friend that we can have a joke with, but they know that they can always come to me, and they know my journey. They know where I've played, what I do, and if I can help them and where I work for, if I can help them, I will. So throughout all ages, it looks very different, but it's all learning for me and for them, and it is going well. I mean, I've had quite a few signings recently. It's almost very recently. At the start of this season, things have been kicking off well. And yeah, it's hopefully I'm going to push as hard as I can, and hopefully forwards we go, hopefully.
Congratulations on those signings, and congratulations on the work thus far.
Thank you.
Yeah, sounds exciting. Exciting part of the journey. I was just on your website actually having a little look. It's slick. It's a slick website. What was I going to say? So, just in terms of the younger ages, like 5, 6 years upwards, I know that you've got like a ball mastery focus, technical excellence, but what is your approach in terms of like how you're coaching them? Is it very much on the details? Is it more on volume? And also, say for instance you've got a pre-academy kid or someone playing high grassroots. Mm-hmm. What would you advise? Would you advise like a mix of small sessions, larger sessions, and one-to-ones, or is it just as it fits the player type thing?
I think so. I think it's in terms of if you're talking about higher level grassroots, I think it's like with my journey and with anyone else, it's what you need to improve on as a player. It may be for a lot of players. I think nowadays it's so important to try your best to be comfortable under both feet. So it doesn't even have to be a one-to-one session sometimes. I mean, if they have the time and if they have the people around them to maybe do a left foot only or right foot only session. But if it's something to do with, I don't know, sharpness and being comfortable under pressure or wanting to work in tight areas, I mean, that's where I try and make my players feel most comfortable in uncomfortable, if that makes sense. So I think having a balance is very key, and like you said, depending on the player, I think it can always change. and just doing what's best for them, really. It's most importantly.
Okay. And so I'm going to jump right back, actually.
Go on.
You mentioned earlier, I think you were just coming out of COVID, and you said that there were some things away from the game that sort of helped you.
Yeah.
And obviously, the parents these days, they're focused on the technicals, which they need to be. But is there anything away from the game that you think would help parents and players sort of push along the journey?
100%. In my opinion, I think analysis is so key. Analysis is very key, especially as time goes on and you get older. I mean, for the younger ones, I believe it might be an easier way of learning, especially when it comes to positioning and things like that. Sometimes parents can get a bit frustrated on the sides and angry with their boys, but I think something as little as watching a game back or just letting them sort of get their take on it and seeing how they look at the game, because not everyone looks at it the same, you know, especially someone who's been watching football for 20 years won't look at it the same as someone who's been watching it for a couple of years, you know. And I think especially as you get older, it's very key in terms of how the game changes and how, if for an under-16 player, what he might be going into and what he wants to develop to be in terms of first team football. And you might study players. I mean, I always encourage my players to study players and have a favourite player who they like to watch and enjoy. And I do a lot of work outside myself with certain players and on analysis, which I learned from a few coaches on the journey, and that they helped me massively with the analysis work. And it made me realise how important it was. And you start to see patterns in plays, and it's almost just expanding your knowledge for it, really. So yeah, the analysis is big. And I also think reflecting on games in a way where you let the kids do more talking and see their view, like I said with the analysis, but how players will know if they've done something wrong, and if they don't pick up it, then that's where parents can. But I think sometimes parents don't realise where their children know they've gone wrong, and I think it's more important for them to notice than for you to give it at them. That, in my opinion. But obviously, they're not going to pick up on everything, and there has to be a balance where a parent steps in and has to teach. But yeah, no, I think it's massive off the pitch.
Yeah, I can't remember if I said it on the pod or not before, but we've got Rio over where my boy plays, and at the start of the season, I was watching it back with him, but I was watching it back, stopping it every 15 seconds, and do you know what could you've done here, and why didn't you do this, and why didn't you do this type of thing? And now we're just in a spot where he watches it himself. He's only 8, under 9, and I watch it myself. I just ask him, and literally 85-90% of it, he'll say, "Yeah, I did this right. I did this. Could have done this a little bit better." And
100%.
Yeah, it just makes the conversation a lot lighter, because you're allowing them to do their own thinking, and it's not a heavy thing where the dad's like, "Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do this?" So
it's like anything. I mean, you could when you're at school, right? A teacher looks over you and figures out how you've worked out this maths sequence, or if you've done something wrong, right? They're not going to drill you. They're not going to drill you for it. They're going to say, "You've done this wrong. You need to." It's all about how you come across and how you deal with it. It almost brings the pressure on. And I'm not saying this because my dad was very supportive, but there was times where my dad probably could have dealt with it a bit better, but he learnt that down the line, and I had chats with him. But I think it's very important. It's knowing your players. Obviously, parents know their children, but for coaches as well, it's knowing your players. Everyone's different coaches. Certain players that coach different. But yeah, no, I think it's massive. So that is good that your son does that, because you want him to enjoy it at the end of the day. If they enjoy watching their games back and improving, then it's only going to go up.
Definitely. OC, can I jump in there quickly? Sorry.
Yeah.
Just a little story. So I think it was last week my son played, and tough game. And I remember he played well. He's at good level right now. He's playing really well. And it's just little details that we're focusing on. And there was VR at the game. And it was one moment where I felt like he should have done a pass out to the left. A boy would have been in. And I couldn't wait to watch the video because I was like, right, I'm going to pick up on that point and show it to him. Then I watched it myself and I was like, he could have passed that to the left, but the pass he actually did, weak foot, although I feel like he's becoming more and more both-sided, weak foot, through the lines, disguised pass, it just was, his striker wasn't ready for it. And then he tried to do a first-time pass to the other player who I thought he could have slipped in. So I said, as much as maybe he wasn't aware of that player, maybe he was, and he chose not to. He chose to do the pass that he was more comfortable in playing. And it was a harder pass. And it was actually a really, really good pass. So it made, to your point, OC, it kind of made me go, oh, because as much as we watched it together and he explained his thought process, and I said, you know what? As long as you're aware of the other player, that's all I can ask at that point. So VO is a great tool and great for analysis, but like your point when you started off, I could have stopped every 15 seconds and critique this and critique that. But you know what? We're not actually playing. And it's very difficult because these are 10, 11, 7, 8, 9-year-olds who are playing the game, and their decision-making is not going to be our decision-making as parents at 30 or 40, not playing in that intensity at that moment in time. So it's very, very easy for parents to do that. So I think to your point, what you do, Finn, is really good. And do you offer that as a kind of service to the non-pros to watch games and offer analysis?
Yeah, of course. Because I'm very passionate about it, and I do really believe it does help. I have actually tried it with all ages, all for learning, really. And the first boy I started coaching, he's actually underrated right now. And we was just sort of playing around with it. And I sort of tried new things and see what information he would take on. He was playing as like a striker on their small pitches. And we tried something as simple as just always being in line with the goalposts when the ball's out wide, when the ball's here. The amount of goals from him just not drifting in games. And it wasn't like you need to be inside the goalpost, you need to be there at this time. It wasn't that. It was just when the ball's in this position or when the ball's in this position, think about where you are. Just have a little check where you are if you're in line and you're around it. And he just started scoring. And it that was probably the most he took from it. But it was something. And because he's so young, it's great to see. But especially when they're older, you can start showing examples from the pro games and they can start understanding and seeing where you're coming from, and really it's not making them believe, because it is the truth. I mean, I know that these pro players are doing so much analysis. You see it in documentaries where, I mean, Arsenal show it all the time, where they have their sit down and they watch back through it. Like, it's not a secret, but I just think it's so important. And everyone looks at the game differently. That's why I feel like you just have to focus on what you want to become, what players you enjoy watching, and just study their game, really. I think that's really important. But yeah, players do know I do it, and I have tried to do it with a lot of different ages. Yeah.
Makes sense. It's brilliant. Sorry, OC, I'm jumping ahead here a little bit. But you made me think about one of the reasons I think you're successful with the pros is because, like you said, you know them, but you also know probably what they're trying to do on the pitch at the same time. So your analysis reflects what they're thinking. And I think they have instant buy-in because you're like them in that sense. And I think that's really good. But I just wanted to talk about your pillars, because you touched on ball mastery. You've touched on analysis. Given your journey, where does the mentoring fit in, or how do you fit that in?
So I mean, I actually didn't mention it, but from when I was at my time at Fulham, I started doing private Zoom calls, which Fulham helped me with.
Mm-hmm.
So Fulham, I spoke to Fulham, they knew I was struggling, so they helped me with private Zoom calls on my psychological and how I was seeing things and how I was, and ways to look at things. And I think I didn't realise how good I can be with the kids. I've never done this coaching. I've never worked in any sort of, a lot of coaches maybe have worked in a school or worked here. It was all new to me. But I think it was more from where I care about player development and how they are, not just on the football pitch, just, like I said, knowing your players, knowing everyone's a human being. It's not like, and it's just, I mean, it's all a journey. It's a tough one. It is a tough one with a mentoring because different people look at it in different ways. But I mean, I really just try and encourage enjoyment the most and happiness out of their game, and that's all I can really ask. And if they're enjoying it and they're happy, they'll enjoy getting better, and that's all you can really ask from them.
Okay, I've got one last question. Thank you for that. I've got one last question, and then I'll hand over to OC and then we'll wrap, because we've probably got some analysis to do, but I have some cheeky questions at the end, I will warn you. I guess jumping around a little bit, but you mentioned something earlier on about your dad, and you said about you recognize how much time he was putting in and missing work sometimes, etc. Was that 14-year-old Finn or was that 20-year-old Finn? When did you recognize that, and have you had that conversation with him, and have you told him thank you, and your mum as well, about that?
I mean, I always noticed it, especially as I got older. I mean, I knew the whole journey. I knew where, especially the Southampton, I mean, that was a lot, and it was I was struggling, so I knew they was definitely struggling, picking me up from school, dedicating their whole evenings and time towards it. And we did have a conversation about it, and it wasn't just my dad done most of the work for me, but there was loads of people. And honestly,
so your grandparents as well, didn't you?
Yeah, my grandparents helped massively, both grandparents, my mum, everyone, and it was lovely to know I had that support and the people around me, but I just felt very lucky and fortunate that I had that, and I just really appreciate it. And it's taught me how to be, I mean, I try and help out my brothers now as much as I can.
I was going to ask you, do you coach them?
Yeah, so sometimes it's hard to find the time, which is quite, on the weekends we do as much work as we can, but in the week it's quite tough with his football going on, with my stuff. But like I said, with him it's just all enjoyment. I mean, I've actually tried to step in more and help my brother's journey a bit more than how my dad was helping me. Yeah. I've tried to help him in certain ways because we are very similar.
Yes, I was going to say that. I was thinking that when you were speaking about yourself, actually. I
mean, my middle brother is very funny and very loud, but my youngest brother, me and him are very similar. So I'm very happy for him. He's enjoying his football. He loves football, and I will just keep helping him the best way I can. But yeah, I definitely think that I appreciated it. I knew it was happening all along, and I appreciated it. And it really did hit me hard when I decided not to play football. That's what hurt me the most. The time from the other people. It wasn't that I stopped playing football. It was, I feel like I've wasted these people's time. And I feel like my family, I know that now that they wanted me to just be happy and enjoy what I was doing. Which was most importantly, but I did feel like I had let my family down massively, because it's all they wanted for me and that's all they knew. But they had to they didn't know if I was just being like, oh yeah, you're just going for a bad time, you just want to carry on with your football, you're just having a tough time at the minute. But my dad did understand me and helped me massively. Both my mum and my dad, everyone helped me. So I was lucky to have that around me.
Shout to mum, dad, grandparents, both sides, and everybody else that helped.
Everyone, yeah.
It takes a village. Honestly, takes a village to get somebody pro into an academy or even throughout the journey. So thank you to all. And I think it's important. I just wanted you as a young man to kind of explain that, because a lot of parents are doing the grind. They're doing the hours, they're doing the miles, and they're skipping work. They're skipping work at times or having to work when they come home. So I think it's important that young boys, young men recognize this, and parents understand that the boys are so focused and driven that they don't always get the chance to say thank you at the time, even though they acknowledge it.
Like you said earlier, it's another lesson that you learn down the way in the football journey. I mean, there's not many times that your parents would be driving here, there, giving up jobs for you to do certain things, and it's things that you really appreciate and realise that's in the journey and away from sport and away from football. But yeah,
100%. Growth is growth, and I love that. You got a growth mindset, which I love. OC, before we let this young man go, did you have another question?
Yeah, just a couple actually. So the thing is, you've come through the system, and I think that you've taken a lot away from the system, and you're fairly new into the coaching journey. But if we fast forward 10 years, I think that actually what your parents have done and where you're going to be, like, it's going to be a real success story, if it's not already, which it is. So it's just interesting because everyone thinks that it's the Premier League, is playing for Arsenal, is playing for Fulham, but actually coming through, being a successful man and having your head screwed on and really having a passion to focus on is also something key that you've got from football. So I think that's a good lesson and story for everyone. Two different questions. Obviously, you might have not stopped too long ago, but would you have? Do you play currently, even if it's 7-a-side or things like that, or
the odd occasion? Yeah. I mean, I have had. I mean, pretty much every conversation I had with people, I do get the you got to go back, or I've got this team. Do you want to come? I actually had one today. Not funny enough. I had one to come and play on a Sunday, but I do miss certain times, but I'm always around it, and I love what I do now. It's all learning. It's all football to me. I still go and watch it as much as I can, all levels. But yeah, I'll have the odd 7-a-side game with my friends for a bit of fun, but I think I'm very passionate about my journey now and having my own business and trying to push it the best way I can and help others that I don't think I have the time at the minute. But it's definitely something that I'm always hearing, and I do miss it. So not to the point where I'm gutted. I'm like, because I have focused my new journey now, and I'm glad I've done it, and I love it. Coaching doesn't feel like work. It's all just learning to me every day.
Yeah. So, I suppose there's a lot about just having the ball at your feet as well. So even if you're not doing the 11-a-side, having the ball at your feet every day is what it's about as well. So yeah. That's good. So you can go. Sorry, let me just ask. So who are you scouting for now, and what do you look for in a player? Because it sounds like you like detail. Sounds like you're a technical player. Is that what sort of eye you've got, or is it wider than that?
I wouldn't say no. It's not just technical detail. It's not everything, but in my opinion, I think it plays a big part. I mean, I am working at West Ham, and I do send a lot of players to certain clubs, and I work with a few clubs. I always talk to everyone and help everyone I can. But in terms of what I would look for in a player, I mean, someone who's enjoying it, because if they're enjoying it, they want to learn and they want to have fun. I think both feet young is very important. I mean, it's very hard to teach and very hard to get across to them, but even if it's just a little bit more comfortable playing off both feet, it's a big thing. Leadership, which is something that I struggled with, so I know it's not everything, but I think it's definitely a big part of the game. Not someone who's constantly leading everyone around, but someone who that can, not even leadership to everyone else, but someone who can pick themselves up. That's a big thing from me personally, because it was something that I struggled with. Someone who can make a mistake but can switch and not sort of carry it on and let it affect them for 10 minutes in a game and go missing, especially when I'm looking at older ones. Can't make a mistake and go missing for 10 minutes because they're thinking, oh, why didn't I do this? It's someone who's just reacting onto the next one. I have this conversation with the older boys so much. I mean, I've actually got clips on my computer somewhere of examples where players are how they react when Sky Sports zoom in. I mean, Mo Salah misses an open shot, like an open goal, or he just misses and he'll smile every time. Saka smiles, this one, and because they know it's how you react, it's how you're on to the next one. It's you can't dwell on it, and I think that's big young as well. So I'd encourage parents. I think it's one of them things that can't get down about it. You can't let it change your game. You just got to keep going, in my opinion.
Yeah, some good insight for the parents.
Yeah, man, it's a long journey. It's a long journey, but I think especially for the young ones, because obviously I see it a lot with the parents, with the boys I'm coaching and girls I'm coaching. But it's a long journey, so the pressure is they shouldn't play with pressure, in my opinion. You got to enjoy it.
So F can stand for fun as well.
Everything.
Did you have any more, OC?
No, I'll leave it there.
Sorry, were you going to say, Finn?
No, I'm just saying you got to enjoy it, but you got to want to win at the same time.
Yeah, I hear that. So I know you've got analysis to do. I know you've got plans to do. So I'm just going to thank you for your time once again. I think you've been an amazing guest. I think I'm going to say it again. You're our youngest guest. I'm going to say it just so people know, if they're not looking at the visual and they're just listening on the audio, they can't see your youthful looks and they haven't caught how many times I said your age. But you're an impressive young man to start your own business, to have the mindset you've got, and to give back, and to be working with both the young and the signed pro as well. I think that's really impressive. So what we need to do is to tell people where you are, where your sessions are, what time they are, and how people can find you. Because do you know what? I might send my son down to you. So
please do, anytime.
so let us know.
So at the minute I have 3 locations, literally just set up a new one. So I have Fairlock Waters back in East London area. I also have a venue at Shooters North Weald, which is out in the Essex area. And I've just recently set up a new venue in Bishop Stortford, which is further out in Essex as well. People can find me on Instagram, TikTok, F7_coaching. I've got my own website, www.f7coaching.com. And yeah, any socials, drop me a message. Anything I can help you if I can. And yeah, look forward to it. I appreciate you guys for having me on. And I thank you for your time and for your questions. And I hope I've helped the audience and done anything I can.
I guarantee you have. I guarantee, my friend, you have done that. We just have one last thing we need you to help us with.
Okay.
So, and before you answer this question, be prepared to help us with your answer.
Okay.
So the question is, who do you think we can get on this pod or should get on this pod? And before you answer that, you have to help us get that person on.
Get that person
on. Yeah.
Okay, let me think about this.
Yeah, I didn't give you the heads up on this, and if you haven't seen this late into an episode, you won't know this is coming.
Okay.
I'm going to give you some time to think and give you about 20. Oh, you got it? Go for it.
I am gonna say I wanna think of someone that would have a good story. I'm trying to think who would have a good story.
Well, you think, whilst you think, I'm just going to remind the listeners, listen, if you've got this far into this pod, you've had a great experience. It's been a great conversation, as always, with young and impressive Finn Fletcher. And I'm going to stop saying young, because you know what? He's just the man doing his thing, and it's F7 coaching, and he's doing well. So, like, subscribe, hit the notification, and please leave a comment, leave a question. And if you're listening on the audio feed, a like and a review, we would be so grateful. The listeners and the audiences are growing, and we're growing and trying to bring you great guests, as we are doing now. And Finn has come back with his answer of one of the future guests we are likely to get on this pod. And his name is, or her name?
I am going to go for a player.
Oh, okay.
I will do everything I can to help.
Appreciate that.
I'm going to drop Harry Amas because I think he has a very interesting journey on how he was bought from a big club like United at a young age. Obviously now playing international football. Very busy guy, but I think if I have a few chats, or I can definitely get something to help towards the subscribers and the following. But I think he has a great journey, and it's very interesting.
Brilliant. So you just heard next week we're having Harry Amas on the show. No, I'm only joking. No pressure.
I'll do anything I can. You know I will.
I appreciate that. And I also appreciate that it's very difficult for pros to come on, given everything they have to deal with, scrutiny, etc., club. And they may not be able to speak as freely as they want. So if you can get him on, we'll appreciate it. And obviously we'll discuss what he needs to discuss or would like to discuss. So we'll be grateful for that. But listen, I think you've been brilliant. We've been Ball at All Cost, and we are out.
Thank you, guys.